You're watching Pyro Media Network.
Better things to do, rather spend my precious time chasing somebody who loves me too. If I got $1 for every time you slam the door, I would be the richest girl alive, life. If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me tonight. But you didn't know me, all you wanted was a game to play, and you couldn't handle that I had no ways. About your magics and your side chicks, I'm a winner, babe. But you didn't win this, it's a part of the game. In the beginning, I just didn't know.
Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience is fruitful. Please feel free to visit our website to find out how you can join our growing family. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. Also, share so others may enjoy as well. And we hope you would consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Hey. Happy Friday, Junior. Welcome to this week's episode of Nicole D. Vick Live. Yay! I am Dr. Nicole D. Vick. So happy to have you here. Every Thursday, I go live to share with you important topics in the Black community, specifically in South Los Angeles, because that's where I stay, that's where I be, that's where I am. Yes. And I remember, side note, that I was working with an organization some years ago, a nonprofit, and they talked about South Los Angeles being not just a place, but a culture, a sort of a thing, a vibe. And I actually 100% agree and believe that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. Side note, that's just my personality. I'm going to go down the side way, the alley, the back street, and then come back around. That's just me. Anyway, every week I bring to you important issues in the Black community from a social justice and public health perspective, specifically in South Los Angeles. I am super excited to have you here. We had some rain over the last couple of days, and then today was super windy. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. I need my hair to stay attached to my head. It was that kind of wind. Like, I was like, wait a minute. Because if it fly off my head, I can't run after it. Y'all know I got my walker and my ankle and all of that. I can't be running after this hair. So I was like, please stay attached. So if y'all are out there in that wind and you know you got your enhancements on, just hold on to them so they don't go away, because we spend good money on these things. Huh? Okay. Anyway, shifting gears. This is Women's History Month / Black Women's History Month. And I want to kind of continue the conversation around rest as resistance. Last week, I was telling y'all about the 92% and how we collectively, without even really some message from from our leader, there's really no leader. We all kind of got the memo of, oh, we finna take a seat. And so I said to myself, I want to talk to someone who is an expert in rest and restoration and alternative practices for us as Black women to rest. Because, I think a lot of us are so type A in a lot of ways. We're used to taking care of everybody else. we don't even know how to stop and slow down and take care of ourselves. So I wanted to bring someone on who is really big on that. But before I dig into that, I want to kind of bring up this whole idea of rest as resistance. There was a quote from Audre Lorde. She said, caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. Now, she wrote this in her 1988 book, A Burst of Light. This was her second bout of cancer. So she was really talking about like, how do I, take care of myself so that I, am here and can continue to fight for social justice and equity and all the work that she had been doing. But it also really speaks to that for a lot of us, because we are so used to being in the fight, in the struggle for justice, for freedom, for independence, for equality, that we often burn ourselves out and burn ourselves down. And this idea is that self-care is actually not just being like selfish or indulgent, like I'm literally saving my life by stepping back. And that's where things like the NAP ministry come from. Trisha Hersey wrote the book called Rest is Resistance, a manifesto. And same concept that she's talking about. It's not about, oh, just go take a nap. No. For us, it's a little bit different. This is about self-preservation. This is about making sure we're still here to take care of ourselves and our families, right? So again, I really want to kind of talk about this and just give a little bit of a different spin on, well, what can that look like for us? Especially again, because we're not used to doing it. Yeah, we might go to the spa or to the nail salon, but let's dig a little bit deeper than that. And I'm really, really excited to have my guest on. Christina Wherry is here. She's going to come and talk to us. Now, she got a little technical difficulties because the universe is trying to play in our face. And I'm going to tell y'all, she was looking so fabulous. The sun was all in her face and the melanin was popping. But we have to turn her camera off because the Wi-Fi and the whoop-de-whoop is doing the thing that it always do when we trying to do something. So we still have her here, her audio, and we're going to talk to her today. So I'm really, really excited to have Christina on. Come on down. Let's hope this work out. Come on, please, Lord, please. Christina, are you there?
Hey there, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I am well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I had to explain to everybody, child, that the technology is not technology in today, but that's all right. We gonna make this work because this is important to talk about. So the first question I have for you, can you talk to me about your journey and what led you to focus on stuff that is restorative for us as Black women, like yoga? Like, a lot of us ain't really into that yet. So I want to know, because you've been doing this for a while, what got you into that space?
My own healing. Well, first, Dr. Dr. Vick, I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on to share how important rest is. And for my own healing, I found the mat, I found meditation. I sometimes say it found me, truthfully. And in that, I've been a very ambitious middle child. And with that, overachiever, overthinker, over a lot of things. And honestly, I was looking for ways to take care of myself, but also get to know myself outside of my achievements. And it was different. It was right, because we use our achievements to say who we are, and it's just like, no, that's not exactly who you are. Those are things that you've put forth the effort and had the discipline to do and complete. Yet everything that I've done is, of course, a part of my spiritual journey and my journey here. Yet sitting with myself, I got to know myself in a different way. And so this practice, yoga, actually, I started with meditation because I needed to quiet my mind. It got to where at night I couldn't rest. I wasn't talking to anyone or being actually really vulnerable in order to communicate and get things out. And so at night, my brain would be it'd be taking me through the through the trenches of, honestly, the past and the future, and not allowing me to be present in the moment. And honestly, that's what this practice brought me. During my yoga teacher training, the first one, because there were many trainings after, it was an eye opener, because I had to sit with myself. I couldn't get up and go take care of other people. I couldn't be talking to, I did, of course, talk to my homegirls, but at the same time, there were no distractions. When you sit on the mat, it's almost as if you're looking in the mirror and you have to face yourself. The things that don't belong to you, the things that you're not proud of, the ugliness, right? In a sense of maybe there's some anger in there, there's some frustration, and understanding that so that we can heal from it is the goal, is the aim, so that we can be our full selves all the time.
Wow. You have said, we can end the episode. You done said it all in this one space, because I feel like it is so important to sit with yourself. And honestly, and I'm gonna go on the sidebar, because this is what always happens, but I love this about how this podcast goes. You will say something, and then it's like, oh, we gotta turn left. Me breaking my ankle was the worst experience in my life, I would say, so far, because I ain't dead yet, right? But I think, to your point, even in that, it forced me to sit with myself. You know why? Because I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't drive. I can't go nowhere. So Nicole is in here in this wheelchair by herself, sitting with herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of,
and
in
it
a
can be a
sense,
lot.
and maybe it wasn't as intentional as what you're talking about, but it was a moment and a journey for me. Let me ask you this. Why do you think what you have just talked about is so important for Black women to embrace? Because a lot of us, we are so used to moving. Why is this important for us to be thinking about rest, meditation, practices like yoga? Why now?
Because we want to be here, and we want to be here in joy, in laughter, in love, and not tuning into ourselves and honoring who we are, like, fully, takes away from that. So you're only getting this part of me. And I love a good fact. I love a good fact. And there are studies that have come out saying that, heart disease, heart attack, like, these things we are dying from can be preventable. And it's funny because there's this, I have a saying, because people ask me how old I am and they're surprised. And I tell them, like, I don't look like what I've been through. Gracefully. And I say that in the sense of, I've been able to learn how to consciously release the baggage that did not belong to me. And in that rest, you can go ahead and have that discernment of, like, what's yours and what's not. I believe Black women are the most spiritual beings that they are outside of children. And so just being able to sit with ourselves and tune into that higher energy, whether it's God or whomever you choose to connect to, and know that your soul is so full of love, of joy, of all of the things that you need to be here fully. And we take away from that through society's, norms of who we should be and how we should be. And frankly, I am a little tired of people telling people what to do, because we have to know what is best for us, and everything is not for everyone.
Yep, absolutely true. First of all, let me just say this to you. I think if you don't have one, you need a podcast. You need a space, because I feel like the things that you are saying are literally resonant. It's like when you talked about joy, baby, I was about to start crying on the camera. And I'm like, so true, because there's a lot of things I can say. I don't think us collectively as Black women think we deserve joy. I don't think I don't think we believe we deserve rest. It's a lot of things. I just feel like we have decided that it's not for us. And I'm kind of going into the third question before we head into commercial. I was talking to some women. So I got moved at work, not going into detail. I got moved to a location that I used to work at. So it was kind of like going back home. And I got to see my work cousins from about 10 years ago. And some of them were like, girl, we would start talking about retirement. And all of them were like, girl, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, because we're always used to being on for everybody but ourselves. And so the question to you is, how can practices like yoga and meditation help break that cycle for us? And I think you've kind of spoken to it, but I wonder if there's some other things that you can share, like, because we're so used to being on all the time, how can we learn or get into practices like meditation to help us break that the desire or the need to be on?
Oh, there's so much. So I'll be sharing these practices for about 9 years. My own healing journey began maybe 15 years ago. And I will say I have a podcast. It's called The Cusp of Rebirth. And I've been working to be consistent, but I do have some episodes up on YouTube where I'm talking to other people, some of my teachers who are just as giving and educated about, these tools from emotional, physical standpoints. And honestly, I think we have to make it ours. We have to remember that these practices are ours. And I think there's so much. We talk about self-worth as well, which is you are worthy of taking care of yourself. You are worthy of all of the goodness that is here that we see other people have at times. And these practices, I remind Black women especially, that we have hieroglyphics doing yoga. This is our practice. And we have to, when Miss Maxine Waters came through and said reclaim, she brought that word back to life for us. It's really about reclaiming these practices. And so making it yours, carving out the time and knowing that you're worthy and you're deserving of. I believe mirror talk is important, looking in your eyes and saying and speaking to yourself with love and with confidence, and sitting on your mat. And maybe it's not the mat, maybe you sit up in bed and you pray or you journal. All of these things are going to continue to build upon what it is that how it is that you take best care of yourself so that you can continue to grow and to heal while you're here. And honestly, I love this weekend we're having a neo soul yoga flow. And for me, it's about making it ours. I listen to hip hop sometimes. I listen to R&B. I'll listen to some Roy Ayers too, rest in peace. I'll listen to all of these because music, we are musical beings, right? Like we are vibrating off a frequency. And if you're very soulful, sometimes, healing frequency music may not be your thing. Maybe you want to listen to some Earth, Wind and Fire, or, some R&B to flow to. But what I bring forward too is like, make it fun. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to drag it out and make ourselves do it. Like, have some fun doing these things, and bring forward your inner child as you're doing this work, because allowing that youth within you is going to continue to allow you to just show up for yourself in that lightheartedness.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to commercial. And then we're going to come back and kind of delve into some cultural and historical perspective, which you touched on. And then, giving some practical tips on how folks can even get engaged with what you're working on and what you're doing. And then we're going to close out. But let's go to break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hey, it's Pastor Kim from It's Just Kim Live Show, and you're watching Pyro Media Network.
And we are back. I'm here with Christina Wherry, and she has been dropping some major gems. Everything that she says, I'm like, woo, that's it. That's a word. Yes. So we're going to continue this conversation. And one of the things I think for us as Black women, we often see, and I mean, maybe all of us do. No, let's go back. No, Black women, we often see rest and self-care as a luxury, right? We cannot afford to rest. And so we don't because we're doing these things. How do we shift that mindset? Because I have my own thoughts about how we shift that mindset. But any thoughts from you about how we move away from thinking that rest and self-care is like, no, that's for them people over there that got all the money. I can't do that. How do we move the needle for Black women away from that idea?
I went to a poetry event last night in Leimert Park at the World Stage, and I got to see some people who I haven't seen in a while. And I self-published a poetry book in 2013, and I've been working for the last 2 years to sit myself down and write. And we said something that I'm going to share with you all. One of my actually the person who edited my book, she said, sit down before you're made to have to sit down. Right? Because we hard-headed too sometimes. And I'll say we because it's still gotta, it's still, it's still a little hard up there sometimes. And we want to push through, and we are so strong. And yet, one of the things I learned from being a mother is am I gonna cry? There is so much strength in being soft and allowing yourself to be taken care of, allowing yourself to be supported. And even as a person who is a birth worker, a doula, I get a lot of clients who are just ambitious or more ambitious than I am. And I'm like, love, you are paying me to take care of you. Let me take care of you. And that is one of the things that we have to learn how to be okay, learn to be okay receiving the support, however it
We having some technical. Are you there?
I am. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes. It's acting up a little bit, but let's see. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is ready. And that's one of the things that we have to learn how to tune into and not ignore those certain things. When your back is hurting, when your shoulders are hurting, when the stomach and the headaches and things like that happen, we have to pay attention to those because our body is giving us it's letting us know that, hey, something is out of alignment. And we have to continue to choose ourselves. There's a plenty of resources right now, specifically that are catered to Black women, organizations that are supporting therapy, that are supporting movement. And sometimes we have to put a little energy towards finding them, but they are there. And that's what I know for sure. And that does help us to create community. And I say, bring your friend with you. Both of y'all can have a moment. I've done things like sound bath birthday parties where the turn up looks different, right? The turn up looks like healing. The turn up looks like, girl, we need to cry. We need to cry for a minute, and honoring that. And that's not only healing us, it's healing the past, and it's also giving that healing energy to the future, which they need and are going to need, in a sense of how to process their emotions and give themselves some time to just chill out and be bored. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, well, you again have said several things that I'm like, yep, 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 yep. Starting with the, sit down before you are made to sit down. And my daughter said that, Mommy, that's why your ankle got broke, because you wouldn't sit down. You was moving and doing too much. And the universe said, you need to have a seat. So literally your ankle got broke because you needed to sit down. And I told my daughter, I said, well, dang, I would have sat down. Why they have to break my ankle? She said, no, because you hard-headed. So literally everything you said is what she said to me. She's like, you hard-headed. You wasn't going to sit down. You were made to sit down. And literally have been sitting down for almost a year. And I mean, I still do things, but I think, again, it was just a humbling experience for me in a lot of ways. And it has taught me a lot about myself and how I relate to other people. And to your point as well, people will show up for you in ways that you probably have not even ever imagined. And you will find people in so many interesting ways. I met someone on LinkedIn, total stranger, who went to lunch with him one time. That man took me to almost all my medical appointments. And I'll keep talking about him. Y'all probably tired of me talking about him. Maybe I should have him on the show. But like where does that happen, right? Like, how does that happen? Like, I didn't know this man, and then he was like, you seem real cool. We went to lunch, I broke my ankle, and then he was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And then ever since, like, doctor's office, he would come and he would take me to the doctor. And it's been amazing to see the kind of support. And to your point, sometimes it's hard to accept it. But I think that was one of my life lessons. Girl, you don't have a choice, because you literally cannot do anything for yourself. You have to learn how to be humble and take and let somebody help you. So there were lots of lessons for me. So you've been saying a lot that really resonates with me. And I think it's just so important, again, for us as Black women to shift our mindset away from, no, that's not for us. That rest thing, that yoga thing, that meditation thing, I don't got time for that. No, no, no. This is actually more important to you than anything, because if you get laid out, you no good to nobody, and you got to take care of yourself first. So I really appreciate you bringing that to the front. What advice do you have for someone struggling to prioritize rest and self-care due to work and other things? And you kind of touched on one, like maybe, find an accountability partner, bring your friends, do some things. Anything else that you can suggest for Black women who are overworked? We're used to doing everything, and now we need to kind of learn how to rest and relax and restore ourselves. Any tips?
Well, first, I think that there's shame and guilt around asking for help. And I think that's the one thing that we have to sit with sometimes, which is, why do I feel bad asking for help or time to rest when I continuously show up for others? Self reflection is so important, and knowing that you are worthy of all that is here is the other, and making those small changes, where you may get up a little early in the morning and maybe you sit in silence, or maybe you journal, but you don't go straight to your phone, and you give yourself some time to get acclimated to the day, and say some things, put some things out in the universe, like, today is going to be a great day. And even if things do come up within that time that are not so great, you can recover and bounce back from it. Um, the other tip I would have fun, make it fun as possible, and laugh I sometimes during these yoga classes, I see people so serious and I'm like, ease up. This is time for you to have some fun too. We'll have dance breaks and things like that. But ultimately know that you are worthy of rest, and know that the more that you speak love to your, the more you move in alignment with your what you want to do, the less you feel like you need to show up for others in a way that's just for them. For a minute, I think I'm not sure if it was Shonda Rhimes but it was we were the word we say no is a full sentence, right?
Mhm.
I don't have to do any type of action outside of that. No, learn how to say no to what doesn't feel good for you. And I share this in classes as well, which is, I'm your guide. You know your body better than anyone. So if you're like, Christina, we're not hitting that today, I'm not taking that personal. You know your body. And so we flow with what we can, and we make adjustments. We have variations and things like that that can still allow you to benefit from this practice. And so, yeah, self-worth is big, self-talk is big. And sitting with yourself and asking yourself some of those difficult questions, and the answer may not come soon. It may not come soon, but I saw my mom pull up the carpet in our whole house, take all of the out of the side. Like, we helped her for sure, but she wanted wooden floors. And she was so determined to my mom move furniture, and my dad was present. He was there, but she still was like very ambitious. And so I know the energy of, and I saw it, right? I saw her make baskets and for Mother's Day, and create these opportunities for her, for herself and for us. And made me want to live up to that. Yet at the same time, I want to be able to share with my daughter the joy of being able to laugh and not have to work so hard, and know that I'm being supported. And so know that you are supported. And I say, whether you see it or not, because there are ancestors whose shoulders we're standing on while we're growing through these things. There are people who we may not meet, who are literally rooting for us. And so learn how to lean in, allow yourself to surrender to what is, and know that you are worthy of it all.
Absolutely amazing. We had some comments. I'm going to read some of them. S. Darnice Burrell was agreeing. I saw amen. I saw, but she talked about kind of something, a similar experience, I think, to mine. Like something happened and then you learn that lesson. It says, it took me getting hit by a car in the middle of a crosswalk for God to stop me 3.5 years to learn how to walk again. So yes, he will slow you down. That's how I started my 50th birthday. And now almost 70, I'm still trying to slow down. So yeah, I think for a lot of us, it's hard. We so used to running, and then it's like, woo. And there's some times in our lives where we feel like somebody is slowing us down to just take a minute. So very important. We're going to wrap up, but I want to ask you, Christina, can you talk about like what's up next for you? Any classes, a website? How can people get in touch if they want to participate in what you have going on?
At the moment, I do have a newsletter. I'm on all of the good social media outlets. Instagram, it's Thick Girl Yoga LA. I'm also the same on Facebook. It's Thick Girl Yoga on TikTok. And ultimately, what's next is continuing to bring women together, bring people together to move and to heal. As I said, this weekend we'll have Neo Soul Yoga Flow in Westchester at a place called Yoga Bliss. March 28th, we'll be doing a Sacred Sister Circle, and this circle is centered around menstruation to menopause. There's so many things I learned after the birth of my daughter, and I was 27 at the time. So many things I didn't know about my body. And I went down that rabbit hole and learned a lot. And I feel like it is a part of my obligation being here and to share this information with other women so that when if we do step into these doctors' offices, we have more insight about advocating for ourselves. And then we also know that nature is here to heal us. And so we'll go through movements, we'll talk about yoni steaming, waist beads, and things of that nature. And honestly, we'll be releasing from the womb space, which sometimes is tears, sometimes screaming, but we'll be going a little deep. In April, I'll be doing a childbirth education class. So we're really focusing on women and mamas in particular, and working with Black women and all women who are really open to receive their own medicine, because we can heal ourselves. We have the wherewithal to take care of ourselves in a better way. And honestly, rest is the initiation of that. Being able to sit down yourself and be like, wait, I can give myself this, and I'm deserving of this breath, this moment, this touch, this movement. I'm a big advocate for massage. Body work is important for us and things of that nature. And so I'm looking forward to collaborating with other healers and bringing them forward into the fold so that people can continue to have these experiences. Because one thing's for sure is that we need them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Christina Wherry, for coming on. Thick Girl Yoga LA is what you said, right, for your social media.
Yes.
And we'll make sure to put your information in the chat, at least on LinkedIn, and I believe I can add it on YouTube so people know how to get in touch with you. I'm so glad that we know each other. And here I'll say this before we close out. When I cannot remember how we met, that means you good, because I don't remember how we met. I have no idea. And that's, to me, that's actually a good thing, because that means you, in my heart and in my mind, you've always been here. So I'm gonna take that as a good sign, because I'm like, wait, when did we meet? I don't even know. I have no idea.
You know what? I think it was by way of Facebook. Was another friend that I believe I met you through, and I cannot remember her name at the moment. But the last time I saw you was at the vegan festival in Lamert. It was a super festival. And so yeah, I feel the same. There's no mistake in connection, and there's no coincidence either. And so I'm grateful to have you as a part of my community, and I'm thankful for this opportunity to share, again, these things that are deeply rooted in my heart.
Thank you so much. And listen, when they give me the all clear with this ankle, I told myself, let me get myself together and start moving my body. So once they tell me I can go, be free outside, I'm gonna come see you so we can do some work. Help me out. Help.
Look, I got you, and I'll come to you. I'll come to you. That's not a yeah, look, right? And so again, making it accessible. I'll come to you. We can,
Okay.
get it flowing or whatnot. But again, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. All right, y'all, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. As you know, you can check me out. I have a website, www.nicoledvick.com. I'm also on social media, on LinkedIn, and mostly Instagram. Not so much TikTok no more. I don't know what happened with me and TikTok. Me and TikTok not friends like that no more. Anyway, I also have books. I have two. I have my first one, Pushing Through, Finding the Light in Every Lesson. I have my second one, Push Through, 52 Weeks of Light in Tough Times. And you know what? Now I feel like it's a book number 3 coming, because, I was big on the pushing through and the push through, but now we got to maybe push back. We got to let it go. Maybe that's the next title. Like, no more pushing. We going to let it go. And then I have my last one, Triumph in the Trenches, which is an anthology. I'm one of the contributing authors for that book as well. So thank you all. I believe I've told my daughter she's coming on next week. So I'm gonna have to remind her, because she's gonna be like, what? I want to hear her perspective about this whole 92% of Black women saying, baby, we letting go of all of this. I want to hear from her about her ideas about self-care. She's not a young chick. She a little older now. She almost 30. So, but I still want to hear, because I feel like as she has gotten older, what are her perceptions? What are her thoughts? How does she see all of this in her head? How is she taking all this in? And what does she want for herself moving forward? So yeah, we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.